Hi, Brenda. How are you doing this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So my name is Barry Borowitz. I'm one of the partners here. We're going to chat today, just see what's going on, see what makes sense for you, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Have you ever filed bankruptcy before?
No.
All right. So let me give you a little advice on how it works these days here in LA, is that the bankruptcy court's gone virtual. That means that we're doing everything by phone, email, and Zoom meeting, right? The court doesn't want to see anyone. The judges are all 50, 60, 70 years old, and they're not having anybody come to court. So everything you do will be done from that couch right there.
Okay,
Okay.
that sounds good.
And so once we get started, we'll email you a contract. It's a DocuSign document. You just press a couple of buttons, you become my client. Once you become my client, we're going to send letters to all your creditors that say, hey, Brenda's our client, don't call her anymore. And then we'll
Okay.
move forward going from there. Bankruptcy is done on a flat fee. My name is Barry Borowitz. I want all my clients to be happy. And so you can call me anytime you have questions. I'd rather you call me and ask a question than make any kind of mistake.
I appreciate that.
Okay. So why don't you tell me why you call? What's going on in your life? What are you looking for?
So, over the course of the pandemic, I just, switched jobs and ended up getting really behind on my bills due to student debt and just living expenses, really. So, we ended up putting some of our medical expenses,
On credit cards.
utilities thing, yeah, on credit cards. And then I also defaulted in my student loans a little bit.
Okay, so let's break this down a bit. How much unsecured debt would you say you have? That's credit cards, personal loans, payday loans, things of that nature, medical bills.
Including my student
So
loans.
student loans aren't dischargeable in bankruptcy, so we're going to
Okay.
separate those out.
Okay, that's good to know. I would say probably close outside of my mortgage, close to like 60K.
Okay. And are you currently paying that debt or are you behind?
I'm a little bit behind. Not too much, but I am.
Okay. And how much in student loans?
About 40,000
Okay.
on top of that other
And
debt.
the $60,000 you mentioned, is that you and your husband or just you?
It is both of us.
Okay, so we're looking to file this as a joint bankruptcy. Okay. Do you have cars?
One.
One car. What kind of car?
It's a 2009 Toyota Camry.
Okay. And you making payments on that or is it paid for?
Actually, that's paid for.
Okay. Any other than the house and the car, other significant assets? Inheritance, trust funds, stocks or bonds, businesses, lawsuits against anyone?
No, other than
No.
like maybe 401k, nothing else.
Okay. So let's see where your money comes from and where it goes to. What do you do for a living?
I'm working a call center.
Okay. And do they pay you hourly or salary?
Yeah, it's about $16 an hour.
And you work full time?
Yeah, full 40 a week, sometimes a little bit more, but usually about that.
Okay. And what does your spouse do?
He works in retail,
What do
and
they
he
pay him
makes
to do that?
the same $16 an hour.
So we've talked about your assets. We're going to talk about your expenses. We have to see, we know what comes in the door. Now we got to see where it goes. Okay. So I'm going to get sort of a line item issue here about what you spend. How much is your mortgage payment?
It's about 2,500.
Okay. And does that include property tax and insurance?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. And what do you think you spend on utilities?
Water bill, it's only a townhouse, so probably not as much as most people, thankfully, but it's about 200, like right around 200 a month for water.
Okay.
Probably about 280 for electricity, and then I actually have a gas bill that's about 60 a month.
Okay. And do you have cable TV?
No, just one streaming service. It's less than $10.
Okay. Do you have internet?
I do. I pay about 80 for Verizon internet, and then I have a cell phone bill. It's about 150 for both my husband and
For
myself.
both of you. Okay.
Yeah.
And do you have medical insurance that's not paid for by your employers?
Yeah, that's a big chunk. We spend about 700 a month on health insurance,
Wow,
and
that is high.
Yeah, my husband has a pre-existing condition, and then he has medication every month. That's about 100 as well.
Okay. And what do you think the two of you spend on gasoline a month?
Um, he just goes around the corner, so right around 100, maybe a little more, a little less, just depends.
Okay. So I can see based on your net income and what your expenses are, there's not a lot left at the end of the day, at the end of a month. So what is it you're looking for from this bankruptcy?
I mean, as you can kind of see in my budget, it's just we both had job transitions over the course of the pandemic and depleted our savings. So, I mean, we don't want to lose the home we live in, first off. But
Correct.
second of all, if we could stop having to pay a lot of the credit card bills that built up over, being out of work for a few months, that would really just give us a fresh start so that we can, do things other than work, maybe go to the movie
Right.
theater, have dinner, date, something like that, just where we can, finally breathe a little bit better.
Get your life back on track. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That sounds like a plan. So Brenda, we've talked about your finances. What is it you're looking for when this is all said and done? How can I help you?
So my husband and I bought this townhouse probably just under 2 years ago, but that was like right before the pandemic started. And, we had been really busting our butts to save up for a down payment and that sort of thing. Put all this money down, and then we both lost our jobs right as the pandemic happened. So,
Unexpected, right?
yeah. So, just in order to really keep our heads above water, we ended up depleting the little we had left in savings. And now, for really the last almost 2 years, we've just been trying to make sure our mortgage gets paid, and overtime on top of overtime. There's no time to spend time together. We're always fighting about money. We'd like
Sounds
to
like the stress is high in your household.
yeah. So I mean, if we could get rid of this, it would be such a fresh start. Maybe we'd have just a touch of disposable income to maybe have a dinner date, that sort of
Right.
thing. Um,
You need
yeah,
those things to keep your family together.
yeah.
Half of
I mean,
half of
it's really
divorces are because of
challenging.
money.
Yeah, and that's one of my biggest fears is that that's where we're heading. So this would really solve a lot of problems.
Yeah. Let's say if we can't solve that problem, get the debt off the plate, put you back on track. And part of what we do, I have a law degree and a finance degree. And part of what we do when we do the work is we're going to do a budget on you. We're going to outline everything. We're going to have your electric bill and water bill and gas bill and your paycheck stubs and your tax returns. And we'll go through it and try and show you how to live on what you make and find a way forward that works for you and your family.
Yeah, I would love that.
So Brenda, we've talked about your situation. Let me explain the options available to you, everything out there in the world. Okay. So
Okay.
there's debt consolidation. So sometimes people have lump sums of money. They have 5 or 10 or 15 or $20,000, and we do debt negotiation. You might have $60,000 in debt. We reach out to all the creditors and we offer them 10 or 15 or 20 cents on the dollar. Okay. But most of the clients that do that have that lump sum of money. Does that sound like something that might work for you?
I mean, how much? So you're saying 15, 20 cents on the dollar. So even if I had, so I
Right. So
might about 60, what would it be? Maybe
you'd probably have to come up with maybe $15,000 or $20,000
in what sort of time frame?
when you decide you want to go forward.
Oh, like all at once. Gotcha.
Yes,
Probably not.
probably not. Okay, and that's most of my clients. They're not calling me because they have $25,000 sitting in the bank.
Yeah.
So there's also Chapter 13. Chapter 13 is a reorganization. So if somebody says to me, I have money left over at the end of the month, then we can do a payment plan to the court, stop all the interest. Maybe you're paying 30 or 40 or 50 cents on the dollar, and we spread it out over 5 years. But that's really for people who have excess money at the end of the month. Does that sound like something that would work for you?
No, I don't think so.
And that's because when we did your budget, there didn't seem to be any money left at the end of the month.
No.
Okay.
No.
So
None.
that brings us to Chapter 7 bankruptcy. Chapter 7 bankruptcy is the fresh start. You get to wipe out all the credit card debt, the personal loans, the pay loans, the medical bills. We just want you to start over. Okay. And that's what Chapter 7 accomplishes. You can take that deep breath right when you hire me. You don't have to pay them anymore. right? Life becomes better not when you file bankruptcy, but the day you decide to do it.
Okay.
Okay. And you can hire us for as little as $200. Take that deep breath, sleep that night, go out and have a burger.
Okay.
So Brenda, we found out some information on you. We're going to be able to take care of you. I just want to let you know a little bit about me. I've been doing bankruptcy exclusively for 26 years. Before I did bankruptcy, I did divorce and litigation. Didn't really enjoy either one of those. But when I started to do bankruptcy, within 3 or 4 days, I knew this is what I was born to do. And now I'm in my 26th year.